Big winter storm that will be moving across the United States as we go through this weekend with heavy snow, heavy rain, and severe weather, and we'll be breaking that down today on today's forecast. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America, and press the thumbs up button. It helps to get all this weather information to more and more people. Looking down here across the southeast coast and the Gulf Coast in the purple shaded colors here from southern Mississippi, across southern Alabama, into Georgia, into South Carolina, and northern Florida, those are freeze warnings this morning as that freezing line has all the way down into portions of the Hattiesburg, Mississippi region, the Mobile, Alabama region, and even all the way down toward Panama City and Orlando even, waking up this morning with temperatures near freezing. So very cold for those areas further off to the south and east. And for the rest of us, besides Texas and parts of the southern plains and even the southwest United States, will be experiencing well below freezing temperatures as we are waking up this morning. So make sure you are bundling up if you are headed off to work or school this morning. And looking at our next major winter storm system moving in across the United States as we go late this week and into this weekend, looking first at our jet stream here on Thursday. This is tomorrow to end November. You can see clearly our polar jet stream further off to the north of that. That's where we have the polar cold air into northern Canada. And then we have a subtropical jet that is always across the southern United States, pumping in some of that Pacific moisture. And notice how the jet streams are basically separate from one another there on Thursday. As we go into Saturday, this turns into early December. This is Saturday, December 2nd. Notice how the polar jet and the subtropical jet merge together across the eastern two-thirds of the country. And that will set the stage for phasing of the jet streams as they come together, and one big winter storm will come with this as we go into the weekend. First, let's talk about today, though. Beautiful weather, very quiet weather across the United States, high pressure and control across not only the Pacific Northwest, but much of the central and eastern two-thirds of the United States. Maybe some snow up there, very light snow into Ontario and Quebec, maybe adding up to a couple fluffy inches of snow up there today. But other than that, precipitation free for the most part across the United States. As we go into Thursday, though, another severe weather outbreak looms across portions of especially southeast Texas, as we do have an enhanced risk of severe weather near the Houston Metroplex and places to the north there. We definitely are keeping an eye on that. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the scale. And even that marginal risk, that level 1 out of 5, goes all the way up through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Shreveport, Texarkana, and even up toward the Ardmore and McAllister, Oklahoma region as we go through Thursday. But the tornado threat is heightened tomorrow, up to a 5 and even a 10% shading across southeastern portions of Texas from the Victoria region up through Waco, Austin, and then eastward, especially getting around the Houston Metroplex, Lake Charles there into Louisiana there, and even the Galveston region in Texas, seeing some very interesting weather as we go into that Thursday time frame in the form of tornado potential. So let's look at the precipitation as we go into Thursday morning. Ongoing thunderstorm activity, very numerous across portions of the southern plains, in particular East Texas. Then as we go through the day, noon time frame into the afternoon and evening, widespread thunderstorms from west to east. In the southern flank of these thunderstorms, we have to be watching out for these supercells, these semi-discrete supercells down here near the Victoria region, Galveston, Houston, and even Lake Charles, Louisiana. Those could spin up some tornadoes and maybe even a isolated strong EF2 or stronger type of tornado as well if all the ingredients do come together and align tomorrow afternoon and evening for a time. So we'll keep an eye on that. As we go into Friday, the severe weather threat will shift off to the east, including places like Lake Charles again, New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, down through Montgomery, Mobile, and even over toward Panama City there as well into Florida. A marginal risk for now, but I do imagine there could be a slight risk upgrade to a level 2 out of 5 into places like Mobile, maybe New Orleans or the Montgomery region as we get a little bit closer to the day on Friday, but mainly Friday will be damaging winds and large hail, and you can see possibly a couple of isolated tornadoes with the setup on Friday. A broken line of showers and storms will be racing its way across Dixie Alley and the Gulf Coast there on Friday, and we'll keep an eye on that as we go through the day and get closer. Overall, though, another big story with the storm is going to be heavy rain across the southern United States, and this is an area that needs the rain as we have a lot of drought, so it's welcomed across the southern United States here. A couple inches of rainfall to go around in a widespread zone from East Texas all the way east through Dixie Alley here into Georgia and South Carolina, and then some of that precipitation and heavier rain could lift further north as well, including places like Arkansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, getting into central and southern Indiana, western Ohio, Kentucky, those areas further off to the north this weekend. And then a second storm system. Yeah, we don't want to forget about our friends over here in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, down through Portland, Oregon, the Eugene region, Medford, all those areas could be seeing some very heavy precipitation as we go through the next few days, all the way up into this weekend. And no matter how you slice it, this is welcomed and beneficial precipitation, especially for our friends down here in the southeast, where we have been in a severe, extreme, or exceptional drought for quite some time, and we definitely are going to get a lot of rainfall here, hopefully not in a short amount of time, but a lot of rainfall to help to overcome and alleviate some of these drought conditions, and even across the Pacific Northwest, where we're talking about with some of that precipitation. Washington State, Oregon, Northern California, we have that moderate, severe pockets of drought up there. That will go a long way in helping to alleviate those drought concerns as well moving forward. But with this time of year comes some of the cold air, and on Friday morning there could be a narrow swath of some heavier snows, or at least mix of rain and snow across the Hawkeye State there into Iowa, especially southern Iowa, getting into far northwestern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and then through portions of southern lower Michigan there for Friday morning as we wake up there for the day, and definitely could be seeing some wet snowflakes, and it could be adding up a little bit with another few inches of snow. I know places like Chicago and Milwaukee and back toward the Davenport Quad Cities region did see a couple of inches of snow this past few days. This could be adding up to another couple to a few inches of snow as we go into that Friday morning into Friday afternoon time frame across portions there from Kansas up through Missouri, Iowa, northwest Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and then getting up into lower Michigan. But also with that secondary storm further to the west, that will be providing the Rockies with some very heavy snows and some very heavy snows to go around for Washington State and Oregon, especially in those higher elevations through the weekend as well. But then as we turn into the second week there into December, it's going to get much warmer as well. So we're going to see those temperature anomalies really rise across the northern tier of the United States. Early next week, all the snow that we get and whatever we do have on the ground will likely melt very quickly. Temperatures will be rising into the 40s and 50s, especially near the southern United States. We're back into the 60s for places like Houston, Dallas, and Austin as we go into early next week. And then as we go into later next week, that 40 and 50 degree line reaches all the way north toward the Canadian-U.S. border. So whatever snow we have in the upper Midwest will be going bye-bye very soon as we go through later next week with temperatures like this, that is for sure. And it does look a lot less active as we turn into early December, at least that first, maybe early part of the second week there in December for the central part of the United States. Much more active down there toward the Rio Grande Valley, getting into southern Florida, and then especially the Pacific Northwest, very active there into early December. And the Climate Prediction Center does agree there that from December 6th through the 12th time frame, there's a slight risk for excessive rainfall and heavy precipitation for western Washington state, western Oregon, and much of north central California, including parts of the northern Sacramento Valley as we go through that 12th time frame. Looking at some of this precipitation now through the 12th of December, look at all the heavy rain and heavy precipitation we're seeing, not only for Washington state and Oregon and northern California, but also for northern Nevada here, getting into Idaho, western Montana, parts of Utah and Wyoming, seeing a lot of this heavier precipitation as well. And looking at this, a lot of this will be snow across this region. As you go up in elevation, feet and feet of snow will be possible. So definitely seeing that. A lot of snow to go around with that snow supply there for the ski resorts out across the west and the Pacific Northwest for that first half there of December. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Remember to hit the subscribe button down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America. Press the like button down below. It helps to get all of this information passed along to more and more people, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week out there.